Close your eyes and listen to the sound of the world rushing past you. We live in an era of relentless speed, where the ground beneath our feet feels like shifting sand, and silence has become a luxury we can barely afford. You are tired, not just in your body, but deep within the marrow of your bones. We seek anchors in a storm that never ends. But what if the storm is not the problem? What if the anchor is the trap? To find true strength, we must look directly into the face of change. This is the path of Zen, looking through the lens of impermanence, to find the unshakable silence of nirvana. Let us begin by looking at the morning sun. As it spills across your floor, it seems like the same sun that rose yesterday, lighting the same room, warming the same body. We wake up and we tell ourselves a story of continuity. We believe that who we are today is exactly who we were yesterday and who we will be tomorrow. This is the great illusion of solidity, the comforting lie we whisper to ourselves to keep the anxiety at bay. We build houses of stone. We sign contracts that last for decades. We make vows of forever, desperately trying to freeze time in a block of ice. But look closer. Look with the eyes of a scientist and the heart of a mystic. Your body is not a statue. It is a river. Millions of cells are dying and being born in this very second. Your breath is a tide that flows in and out, never pausing, never holding still. The thoughts you had a moment ago are gone, replaced by new thoughts, new sensations, new fears. In the philosophy of Zen, this is the first and most vital realization. It is called anicca, or impermanence. We suffer because we are fighting a war against reality, a war we are destined to lose. Imagine standing in the middle of a rushing river, trying to hold the water back with your bare hands. You grasp at the water. You tense your muscles. You scream at the current to stop, but the water flows through your fingers. Indifferent to your struggle, this is what we do with our lives. We try to hold on to our youth, onto a moment of pleasure, onto a specific relationship dynamic, onto a feeling of success. And when these things inevitably slip through our fingers, we feel betrayed. We feel that the universe has done something wrong to us. But the river is not trying to hurt you. The river is simply being a river. The nature of the universe is flux. Heraclitus said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man." This is not a depressing truth. It is the liberation you have been searching for. When we stop clinging to the illusion of solidity, we stop exhausting ourselves. Think of the energy you consume every day, trying to maintain the image of who you are, trying to keep everything under control. It is a heavy burden to carry the weight of a static world on your shoulders. Zen invites you to drop that weight, to realize that stability is not found in freezing the world, but in learning to flow with it. The seasons do not mourn the passing of summer. They welcome the crisp air of autumn. The flower does not regret opening, nor does it regret falling. It just is. This section of our journey asks you to observe your environment. Look at the objects around you. They are slowly degrading, changing, evolving. Look at your own hand. It is an aging landscape. Do not turn away in fear. Look at it with wonder. This change proves you are alive. A rock does not change as fast as a flower, but it is also dead to the vibrant pulse of life. To be alive is to be impermanent. To be alive is to be a candle burning down, giving off light and heat only because it is consuming itself. If the candle refused to burn, if it refused to change, it would remain a lump of wax in the dark. So we must ask ourselves, do we want to be safe, cold wax, or do we want to be the light? To choose the light is to choose impermanence. Now that we understand the river is flowing, we must confront the emotion that arises when we look downstream. That emotion is fear. It is the tight grip in your stomach when you think about the future. It is the 3 insomnia, wondering if you are enough, wondering if you will lose what you have built. In the West, we are taught to accumulate. We gather assets, we gather status, we gather friends. We build a fortress of things to protect us from the void. But deep down, in the quiet moments, we know the truth. We know that the fortress is made of sand. This knowledge creates a low-level hum of anxiety, a background noise that never quite goes away. We are terrified of loss. We treat loss as a failure, as an error in the system. But in Buddhism, loss is not an error. Loss is the other side of the coin of gain. You cannot have the inhale without the exhale. Imagine trying to only inhale, holding your breath forever because you are afraid of letting the air go. You would suffocate. Yet, this is how we live our emotional lives. We want the romance without the heartbreak. We want the success without the risk of failure. We want the children to stay young forever, never leaving the nest. This resistance creates a profound inner tension. We become brittle. Think of a dry branch in a storm. It is rigid. It refuses to bend. And so, when the wind comes, it snaps. Now think of the bamboo. It is hollow. It is flexible. When the storm howls, the bamboo bows all the way to the ground. It yields. It accepts the power of the wind. And when the storm passes, the bamboo springs back up, unbroken. Inner strength, what we call, is not about being a stone wall. It is about being the bamboo. It is the capacity to endure loss without losing yourself. How do we cultivate this? By changing our relationship with the transient nature of beauty. The Japanese have a phrase, asterisk, mono no aware asterisk. It translates roughly to the pathos of things, or a sensitivity to ephemera. It is the bittersweet feeling you get when you watch cherry blossoms fall. They are beautiful times because times they do not last. If the cherry blossoms stayed on the tree for forever, made of plastic, we would not stop to look at them. Their value lies in their fragility. Apply this to your life. Your time with your loved ones is precious, precisely because it is limited. Your health is a gift, precisely because it is temporary. When you truly accept impermanence, you do not become nihilistic or depressed. On the contrary, you become intensely present. You stop taking things for granted. When you drink a cup of tea, you taste it fully, because you know this moment will never happen again in exactly this way. When you hug your partner, you hold them a little tighter, knowing that one day, one of you will have to let go. This is not morbid. This is the birth of gratitude. Fear is transformed into appreciation. The anxiety of loss is replaced by the richness of the present. There is a famous story of a Zen master who possessed a beautiful, rare teacup. He held it up and said, "I love this cup. It holds the heat perfectly. The glaze is exquisite, but to me, this cup is already broken. Because I know its nature is to break, I don't have to worry about protecting it. And when it eventually falls and shatters, I can say, 'Of course,' and move on without suffering. To see the cup as already broken is the ultimate act of Stoicism and Zen. It frees you from the tyranny of expectation. You are no longer waiting for the other shoe to drop. You have already accepted that it will. And in that acceptance, you find a profound peace. You are no longer fighting the future. You are here, now, strong in the knowledge that you can withstand the flow of time. We have looked at the river of change, and we have felt the water against our skin. Now, we must understand why we drown. Why does change hurt so much? In Buddhism, this is the investigation of time's dukkha asterisk, often translated as suffering, but better understood as unsatisfactoriness or friction. Imagine a wheel that is slightly off-center on its axle. Every time it turns, there is a bump. There is a grinding noise. That is time's dukkha asterisk. It is the friction between the way the world is and the way we demand it to be. This is the architecture of our pain. It is not the event itself that causes the deepest suffering, but our reaction to the event. The Buddha taught the parable of the second arrow. He said, "In life, we cannot avoid the first arrow. The first arrow is the pain of inevitable events. You will get sick. You will lose money. Someone will insult you. It rains on your wedding day. This is the physical or situational pain, and it is unavoidable. It is simply part of the human contract. But then, we shoot ourselves with a second arrow. The second arrow is our reaction. We say, 'Why is this happening to me? It's not fair. I can't handle this. I wish things were different.' We obsess. We replay the event in our minds 1,000 times. We construct a narrative of victimhood. The first arrow hurts, but the second arrow is where the agony lies. The first arrow is sharp, but the second arrow is poisoned. Most of our mental exhaustion comes from the second arrow. We live in a culture that is addicted to the second arrow. We are taught that if we are uncomfortable, something is wrong. We must fix it immediately. We must distract ourselves. We must blame someone. We scroll through social media to numb the sting. only to find that the comparison makes us feel worse. We buy things we don't need to fill a hole that cannot be filled. This is time's tanha asterisk, or craving. It is the thirst for reality, to be other than it is. We crave for the pleasant moment to last forever. We crave for the unpleasant moment to vanish instantly. We are constantly leaning forward into the next moment, or leaning back into the past. We are never simply upright. This creates a state of perpetual tension. We are like a violin string wound too tight, always on the verge of snapping. Wisdom, or asterisk, begins when we learn to distinguish between the two arrows. When pain arises, we can learn to stop. We can say, here is pain, here is sadness, here is anger. We acknowledge the first arrow. We feel it fully, but we do not pick up the bow to shoot the second one. We do not add a story to the pain. We do not judge ourselves for feeling it. We simply witness it. This sounds simple, but it requires immense inner strength. It is easier to be angry than to be mindful. It is easier to blame the world than to sit with your own discomfort. But the cost of that ease is your peace of mind. The cost is a life spent running away. To develop wisdom is to become a scientist of your own experience. You observe the mechanism of your suffering. You see that when you demand the traffic to move faster, the traffic does not change, but your blood pressure rises. You see that when you resent the rain, you simply get wet and angry, instead of just wet. The friction is within you, and if the friction is within you, then the solution is also within you. You have the power to smooth the axle. You have the power to drop the second arrow. You cannot control the world, but you can control the architecture of your own mind. If we are to stop shooting the second arrow, we must ask a terrifying question. Who is holding the bow? Who is the I that is suffering? We spend our lives building a character called myself. We define ourselves by our jobs, our relationships, our political views, our past traumas. We say, I am a successful businessman. I am a loving mother. I am a victim of my childhood. We create a rigid sculpture of the ego, and then we spend all our energy defending this sculpture. If someone insults our work, we feel the sculpture has been chipped. We attack back. If someone ignores us, we feel the sculpture is shrinking. We seek attention to build it back up. This is the root of all conflict. We are walking around carrying these heavy, fragile statues of ourselves, constantly bumping into other people's statues. Zen offers a radical solution. Put the statue down. There is a beautiful Taoist parable, often used in Zen teaching, called the empty boat. Imagine you are rowing a boat across a foggy lake. Suddenly, you see another boat coming out of the mist, heading straight for you. You shout, "Hey, watch out, turn aside," but the boat keeps coming. You get angry. Your heart pounds. You scream, "You idiot! Can't you see me?" The boat crashes into yours. You stand up, fists clenched, ready to scream at the careless rower. But then you look into the other boat, and you realize it is empty. There is no one rowing. It was just drifting with the current. Instantly, your anger vanishes. There is no one to be angry at. You simply push the boat away and continue on your journey. The collision happened. The first arrow struck, but the second arrow, the anger, the blame, the ego disappeared. Why? Because there was no other to offend you. Now, here is the deepest secret of Zen. The other boat is always empty. The person who cut you off in traffic, they are driven by their own conditioning, their own stress, their own blindness. They are drifting in the currents of their own karma. They are not targeting you personally. But here is the even deeper truth. Asterisk, your time's boat is also empty. The self you are defending is an illusion. It is a collection of thoughts, memories, and habits, constantly changing. There is no solid captain inside your head. When you realize this, it is called time's anatta asterisk, or no self. It sounds scary, like you are disappearing, but it is actually the ultimate freedom. If your boat is empty, nothing can hit you. If you have no rigid ego to defend, insults pass right through you like wind through a net. You become transparent. You become vast. Think of the sky. You can throw a spear at the sky. You can scream at the sky. You can light a fire under the sky. The sky is not hurt. The sky does not get angry. The sky simply allows the clouds to pass. This is the nature of nirvana. It is not a place you go when you die. It is the state of mind where you realize you are the sky, not the clouds. You are the space in which everything happens, not the things that are happening. When you cultivate this empty boat mentality, you develop a type of inner strength that is invincible, not because it is hard, but because it is formless. You can navigate the chaos of the world without friction. You move with the grace of water. You respond to the needs of the moment, without the baggage of the past. You are free. A question inevitably rises in the mind, a resistance that feels like survival. We hear these words about letting go, about the empty boat, about accepting the flow of the river, and a part of us rebels. We think to ourselves, if I accept everything, will I become a vegetable? If I let go of my desires, will I lose my ambition? If I detach from people, will I become cold and unfeeling? This is the most common misunderstanding of Zen, and it is the greatest barrier to inner peace in the West. We confuse detachment with indifference. They look similar on the surface. Like a calm lake looks like a frozen pond, but deep down, they are opposites. Indifference is a withdrawal. It is a closing of the heart. It says, I do not care because I do not want to be hurt. It is a defense mechanism, a wall of numbness built to keep the world out. That is not the path of wisdom. True detachment, or what might be better called non-attachment, is not about closing the heart. It is about opening the hand. Imagine you are holding a butterfly. If you close your hand tight to possess it, you crush it. The butterfly dies. This is attachment, love mixed with fear and control. But if you keep your hand open, the butterfly can rest there. You can admire its beauty fully. You can feel the tickle of its legs against your skin. But you know that at any moment, it might fly away. And because you know it might fly away, you are completely present with it right now. This is non-attachment. It allows for a love that is pure, because it is not sticky. Think of a surgeon performing a life-saving operation. If the surgeon is attached in the wrong way, if they are panicking about the outcome, if their hands are shaking with grief, they cannot cut straight. Their emotional turbulence endangers the patient. They care too much about the story times of saving a life, and not enough about the act times of cutting. To be a great surgeon, one must cultivate a cool head, a steady hand, a form of clinical detachment. Does this mean the surgeon does not care? No, it means they care so much. They are willing to set aside their own emotional chaos to do what is necessary. This is the coolness of Zen. It is not the coldness of ice. It is the coolness of a clear mind. When you stop clinging to how you want things to be, you can finally see how they are. And when you see clearly, your actions become effective. Compassion in Buddhism is not just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It is active. It is the capacity to stand in the fire with someone else, without burning up yourself. If your friend is drowning in a pit of despair, you do not help them by jumping into the pit and drowning with them. You help them by standing on the solid ground and reaching down a hand. Your stability is your greatest gift to the world. So do not fear that this path will make you passive. It will strip away the anxiety that drains your energy. It will remove the friction of the ego. What remains is a pure, uncluttered intent. You will still love, but you will love without strangling. You will still work, but you will work without burnout. You will still live, but you will live without the shadow of fear darkening every sunlit moment. You are not stepping out of life. You are finally stepping fully into it, unprotected, open, ready. But what of ambition? We live in a world of targets, of quarterly goals, of striving for excellence. Can a person who accepts what is still change the world? Absolutely. In fact, they are the only ones who truly can. There is a concept in the East called times wu wei asterisk. It translates to non-action. But this is a poor translation. It really means effortless action, or action without friction. Think of the archer. This is a classic Zen metaphor for a reason. When the archer is obsessed with the prize, with the gold medal, with the applause of the crowd, his mind is split. One eye is on the target. The other eye is on the glory. His muscles tense up. He overthinks the release. His desire for the result sabotages the process. The arrow flies wide. Now, look at the master archer. He is not thinking of the prize. He is not thinking of himself. He is not even thinking of hitting the target. He is completely one with the bow. He is the breath. He is the tension in the string. He is the release. the shot shoots itself, and because there is no interference from the anxious ego, the arrow strikes the center. This is the secret of high performance. The greatest athletes, musicians, and leaders know this state. They call it the zone or flow. It is a state of total absorption in the present task. In that moment, the self disappears. There is no I am doing this. There is only the doing. Zen teaches us to live our entire lives in this zone, to have ambition, but to detach from the outcome. This is a subtle but powerful shift. You set a goal, you visualize the destination, but then you let it go. You bring your attention back to the step you are taking right now. If you are writing a book, you do not obsess over the bestseller list. You obsess over the sentence you are writing today. If you are building a business, you do not obsess over the exit strategy. You focus on serving the customer standing in front of you. When you detach from the outcome, you become fearless. Failure is no longer a judgment on your soul. It is just data. It is just the wind changing direction. You adjust your sails and keep going. This is how you build true inner strength. It is the strength of the water that cuts through rock. Water is soft. It yields. If you put a barrier in front of it, it flows around. But over time, it carves the Grand Canyon. It does not give up, but it also does not struggle. It just keeps moving, driven by gravity, driven by its nature. Your nature is to create. Your nature is to grow. You do not need to whip yourself with anxiety to make it happen. You do not need to burn with the fever of not enough. You can burn with a different kind of fire, a cool fire, a fire that provides light but does not consume the wood. This is the action of the bodhisattva, one who acts tirelessly for the good of the world, not because they need to be a hero, but because it is the natural thing to do. Like a flower giving off scent, it doesn't do it for praise. It does it because it is a flower. So, pursue your dreams, build your empires, create your art, but do it with a playful heart. Do it knowing that the sandcastle will eventually be washed away by the tide, and build it beautifully anyway. Not for the future that may never come, but for the sheer joy of building it now. We have traveled far in our minds. We have stood in the river of impermanence. We have emptied the boat of our ego. We have learned to act without the paralysis of result. But knowledge is not wisdom. Knowledge is a map. Wisdom is the journey. How do we bring these lofty ideas down from the mountain and into the traffic jams, the dirty dishes, the difficult conversations of our Tuesday afternoon? We must understand that Zen is not a permanent state of bliss. You do not cross a finish line and say, "There, I am enlightened. I will never be angry again." That is a fantasy. The mind is a wandering creature. It will drift back into fear. It will drift back into judgment. It will drift back into the story of me. The practice is the return. Think of it like training a puppy. When the puppy wanders off the mat, you do not kick the puppy. You do not scream at the puppy. You gently, firmly, pick it up and place it back on the mat, 1,000 times a day. The puppy is your attention. The mat is the present moment. You are washing the dishes, and suddenly you are arguing with your boss in your head. You catch yourself. That moment of catching yourself, that is the moment of magic. That is the spark of awareness. You smile. You say, "Ah," thinking again, and you return to the sensation of the warm water on your hands. You return to the smell of the soap. You return to the here and now. This is how we cultivate wisdom. It is not found in ancient scrolls. It is found in the gap between the stimulus and your response. Someone cuts you off in traffic. The stimulus hits. The old habit wants to scream, but you have practiced the return. You widen the gap. You take one conscious breath. In that breath, you have a choice. You can choose the second arrow, or you can choose peace. This practice turns your entire life into a temple. You do not need to go to a retreat center to find silence. Silence is available in the middle of a scream, if you know how to listen underneath the noise. Every moment of frustration is a bell, waking you up. Every moment of loss is a teacher, showing you what you are still clinging to. The world becomes your ally, not your enemy. Even the chaos is part of the path. There is a saying, "No mud, no lotus." Without the mud of the swamp, the beautiful flower cannot bloom. Without the mud of your suffering, your confusion, your pain, you cannot develop the lotus of understanding. So do not reject your life. Do not wish you were somewhere else. Do not wait for the perfect conditions to be happy. Start right here, in the mess, in the noise, in the imperfection. Stand tall in the center of your own life. Close your eyes for a second. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel gravity holding you. You are here, and that is enough. This simple return to the body is the anchor that never rusts. It is always available. It is the doorway to the sanctuary that you carry inside you. Walk through it again and again and again. And finally, we arrive at the destination that is not a destination. Nirvana. The word itself is often misunderstood. We think of it as a heaven, a paradise filled with clouds and harps. But the literal translation of nirvana is much more grounded. It means to blow out, like blowing out a candle. What are we blowing out? We are blowing out the flames of time's tanha*, the fires of greed, hatred, and delusion. We are blowing out the fever of the ego. Imagine you have been running a high fever for days. Your body aches. You are delirious. You are burning up. And then, suddenly, the fever breaks. A coolness washes over you. The pain subsides. Your mind clears. That relief, that coolness, that is the taste of nirvana. It is times nirvana times peace. It is the cessation of the struggle. It is looking at the world without needing to eat it, own it, or fix it. It is the ability to sit in a room and feel completely whole without needing a single thing to change. This inner peace is not an emotion. Emotions are like weather. Happiness comes and goes. Sadness comes and goes. Peace is not the weather. Peace is the sky that holds the weather. The sky is not disturbed by the storm. The sky provides the space for the storm to rage, and the space for the sun to shine. When you realize your true nature is the sky, you become invincible, not because you are hard, but because you are vast. You look at impermanence, and instead of fear, you feel liberation, because everything changes. No pain can last forever, because everything changes. Every moment is new. You are free to reinvent yourself with every breath. You are free to let go of the past, because the past no longer exists. You are free to be kind, because you see yourself in everyone else. This is the ultimate inner strength. It is the strength of a love that asks for nothing in return. It is the wisdom that smiles at the absurdity of life. It is the quiet confidence of someone who is no longer running. You have stopped running because you realized there is nowhere to go. You are already there. The treasure you were searching for, across oceans of time, was buried in your own pocket all along. The silence you sought is the silence that is listening to these words right now. Look for the one who is listening. Look for the one who is aware. That awareness cannot be hurt. That awareness cannot die. That awareness is the light of the world, and you are that light. Not the lamp, but the light itself. Shine clearly, burn brightly, and when the time comes, let go gracefully. For in the end, there is no end. There is only the river, flowing into the sea, becoming the rain, and returning to the mountain, a circle of endless grace, a dance of dust and starlight. And you are the dance. Take a deep breath in, and let it all go. The river flows on, but you are no longer drowning in it. You are the water. You are the flow. We have looked at the terrifying face of impermanence, and found behind it the smiling face of freedom. You have the tools now. You have the wisdom to see the empty boat. You have the strength to hold the open hand. You have the peace of the cooling fire. Walk gently into your life. Be kind to your wandering mind. Be brave in your loving heart. The storm may rage outside, but inside, the candle burns steady and bright. Be the calm. Be the space. Be free.